Okay, good afternoon, everyone. We'll be starting then the presentation from myself on Degree Apprenticeships. Jade has called it everything you need to know about Degree Apprenticeships. I'm more likely calling it a rough guide for schools and colleges. I'm Jenny Han. I'm the Assistant Director of Higher Education Curriculum and Quality here at University Centre Western. We've got about 48 programs now in higher education, about 800 students, 800 plus students now, 800, I think about 850 students studying here, and more recently, a number of students studying as degree apprentices. So I can share my experience with you. And if you have any questions, just type them into the chat box and I will endeavour to give you answers to the questions. Okay, we'll make a start then. So, what is a degree apprenticeship? Well, they are relatively new in academic terms. Universities, traditional universities, not used to apprenticeships at all. Colleges like Western College, very, very familiar with delivering straightforward degree, straightforward apprenticeships on the frameworks, but the degree apprenticeships are something else. So I've tried to capture what a degree apprenticeship is in this diagram. If we think of the green rectangle here as being the apprenticeship training space, then the traditional qualifications, the BSc or BA Honours degree or the foundation degrees, are qualifications within the overall apprenticeship training space. So we call that the knowledge qualification. So for higher apprenticeships, often there's a 2-year foundation degree program surrounded by the rest of the activity that encapsulates the full apprenticeship training. There may be subsidiary activities which carry additional qualifications or may not carry additional qualifications. So, for example, within our degree apprenticeships, which we're delivering for the Ministry of Defence in the engineering area, the additional activities that they have in the first year of a 5-year degree apprenticeship include performing engineering operations, and also across the first and the second year of that 5-year program, level 4 NVQ related to the engineering industry. So there may be several activities. Another example, within that same program, the employer has particularly requested that there is a statistics component within that apprenticeship training, which we have included. Now, the little bits of additional subsidiary activity may be there as a consequence of the standard itself, the apprenticeship standard, or they may be elements which either the college, the delivering college, or the employer feels are particularly useful or desirable for the apprenticeship that they want. So they can be tailored, but ultimately the degree apprenticeship is mapped to the standard. The standards themselves, the degree apprenticeship standards and the higher standards have been developed by trailblazer groups, by groups of industry representatives over a period of time, and those standards have incorporated everything that the employer group thinks is essential. So the knowledge qualification, the qualifications that universities and colleges have traditionally delivered as academic qualifications, those are within the overall framework of the apprenticeship training. One of the defining features of degree apprenticeships is this concept of 20% of the apprentice's time must be off the job training and 80% on the job training. So over the total period of time of the apprenticeship here at Western College with us, they have to be spending 20% of their time off the job at the college. Typically, that's a full day at college on a designated day, the same day for the duration of the apprenticeship. However, that can vary from college to college. We've determined that for continuity, having that same day across the whole of the apprenticeship works well and will enable the apprentice to and the employer to organise the employee's time. So let's not forget all of these degree apprentices are employed. They're employed people studying for apprenticeship training at the college. 20% of the time they're doing that at the college, but they're receiving training and support whilst they're on the job as well. So there is a certain level of communication inevitably that has to happen between the employer and the college to ensure that all elements of the apprenticeship training are tested. Hi, Kerry. No problem. I'm only on the first slide. Welcome. So I'm just defined the shape, if you like, of degree apprenticeship training, the knowledge qualification within, and bits of subsidiary activity which may or may not have additional qualifications. So you can see that there are clear benefits to combining academic study, getting that knowledge qualification, and having paid related work and experience in the workplace. The benefits to students, they will see this as the opportunity to combine academic study and real work where there's pay. There is no cost to the apprentice. That's the good news. No fees, no loan to repay. And certainly, whilst we know that students don't have to repay student loans for degrees until such time as they meet a certain level of pay in the workplace, we know that the concept of the debt, the reality of the debt, can be off-putting for students to study traditional qualifications. Now, my background, I've been 30 years in university education, and I see the introduction of degree apprenticeships as being really very, very worthwhile from a student perspective. The ability to combine the achievement of that academic qualification with paid related work and experience is valuable. No cost, no fees, no loan. The other key feature is that there is sponsorship from a motivated, engaged employer. So it's a win-win-win situation, really. A tripartite, mutually beneficial arrangement where the colleges are training and educating students to meet the needs of industry. Now, the apprentices themselves might well be people who are more mature people in the workplace who are upskilling, or they can be younger students directly from school. The key is that they apply for the apprenticeship with the employer. So the apprenticeships are advertised through the government apprenticeships pages. Okay, going back to another benefit, clearly the student has not only got a foot in the door, they've got the whole body through the door, haven't they? 80% of the time they're in the workplace, doing the job, practicing the skills and applying the knowledge that they've gained on the knowledge qualification in the workplace. And typically, employers see a return on investment within about 6 months of the apprentice starting. They can see that there are real benefits to having the knowledge from the academic institution. Any questions so far? Okay. Keen to answer any questions that you might have at any point. So just if you have any questions, just type them into the box. Okay, so how to apply then? The government apprenticeship website is where all of the apprenticeships are advertised, and clearly the government is very keen to acknowledge the number of apprenticeships that there are out there, and so this is partly the reason for having all of the apprenticeships advertised in one place. Okay, Celeste is asking, do the degrees follow an academic year, or is there year-round provision? The answer to that is that the different colleges and universities are going to organise it differently according to the research that they've undertaken, the market research, the work with the employer. So the example that I gave earlier with the MOD, the engineering apprenticeships that we're offering, which result in a knowledge qualification of a BEng in mechanical engineering or electrical engineering. Those apprenticeships run over a period of 5 years. Now, Celeste is asking, is it following a typical academic year? The apprenticeships that we're running to date, we have started all in September, and they will run through the full calendar year. Actually, there will be opportunity throughout the summer months to continue that contact with the industry and that contact with the academic staff. But obviously, one needs to also enable students to have a break from studying. So there are holiday periods, but loosely following the academic year and absolutely following the awarding bodies calendar for exams. So I suppose that's the guiding light, really. We need to ensure that the examination periods that the universities have, our awarding bodies have, are complied with. We've been working very closely to develop our degree apprenticeships with the University of the West of England, Bristol, and we have devised mechanism systems to ensure that all of those aspects of award boards and so on run smoothly, and where things need to be operated slightly differently for degree apprenticeships, then the universities have been very accommodating. There is the question of whether there can be in-year starts. We certainly at Western, we will respond to that need as it arises. On our health and social care practice and integrated mental health and social care programs, which are higher apprenticeships, those we do have September and January starts. I'm very much aware that for certain other of the up and coming apprenticeships, we're looking at multiple in-year start dates. Kerry's asking, are all degree apprenticeships on the government website? And the answer to that is probably not, actually. Ultimately, they will need to be advertised. But if you are interested in having students find out more about degree apprenticeships in particular colleges, your best bet really is to get in touch with the college directly to find out whether there are any more apprenticeships in the offing that they're about to advertise, or whether there are any new standards that we're going for delivering qualifications and apprenticeships around. I can advise you that so far, University Centre Western is running degree apprenticeships in digital and technology solutions, um, and in engineering, but higher apprenticeships in the health areas. But we're also looking at policing and the nursing associate down the line. Cybersecurity is also a major growth area, huge opportunities in that area for students. And within our BSc Honours Digital and Technology Solutions degree apprenticeship, which is a 4-year programme, we are offering a cybersecurity strand. So if you have any students who are keen to get into cybersecurity, then that's definitely an interesting area to go into. Okay, Kathy's asking whether if a student already has a HND or HNC or FD and is looking to upskill, will their course be shorter? Now, the answer to this is very much around the nature of the existing qualification. One can do a degree apprenticeship in a completely different area from where you might have already achieved a qualification. So, for example, somebody who has a BA Honours, even a master's degree in digital design, might want to take their digital experience into cyber, and there is nothing to prevent somebody from going on and doing a further degree apprenticeship on top of an existing qualification. I think Kathy's question, though, is more to do with accreditation of prior learning, and that is a feature of apprenticeship training, but you will need to look very closely with the college at the situation for each individual student. I think it is a case-by-case basis. There certainly is scope for there to be some accreditation for prior award or prior experiential learning. The question as to whether the course will be shorter, accreditation of prior learning, there are rules around it, and in reality, the assignments are based around the standard, and it's unlikely that the students' pre-existing HNC or FD would have hit the particular learning outcomes that are identified in the standard. A mapping exercise would need to be undertaken. Okay, I can see there are a few more questions which I'll come to, but if I can just run through this slide first of all. A minimum criteria will be specified for each qualification. That might be a BTEC, so that to a certain extent answers Kathy's question. BTEC or A-level qualification. Certainly for some programs in engineering and digital technology, we are looking for there to be a good level of maths. We're looking for minimum of A to C grade at A level. That in new money, that's grades 9 to 4. The students will apply through the government website, and the application will then go directly to the college where the apprenticeship is managed and delivered. The college will organise shortlisting, and then those selected candidates will be interviewed by the employer. So the likes of the MOD will be putting out a call no doubt for candidates for next year and the year after to do the degree qualification, the BEng apprenticeship training with us. So you just need to keep your eye on the government website. As I said, perhaps not all advertised, and some are closed for a variety of reasons, because the employers know who they want. But in theory, all apprenticeships should be on the government website. Okay, Kerry's asking about multi-stage application process, including an assessment centre, and asking, is that common? Our experience at Western College, University Centre Western, of delivering degree apprenticeships is pretty new. And we, like many other people, are finding our way through this new territory. It will be common that the application process will be bespoke to the organization. So if the particular company that Kerry mentions in her question has a multi-stage application process, then so be it. So the college will work in close collaboration with the employer to find out exactly what it is that they're after in terms of the candidates for the degree apprenticeship. It's such a great offer. We can see that there will be many applications for each place in the future. So shortlisting will occur and selected candidates will be interviewed by the employer. After all, they are taking up a job as well as the knowledge qualification apprenticeship training that comes with that. Okay. So if students are then successful in securing a post with this employer, this will automatically accept you onto the degree apprenticeship. Any questions on that? Okay. So thinking about what degree apprenticeships are actually available, we need to bear in mind that this is industry-led provision. It's about identifying skills gaps. We've got some fantastic provision in terms of qualifications that students are not applying for courses in great numbers to do. A good example of that is public and environmental health, where there are tremendous skills gaps, and anyone qualified in that field can secure really gainful, really well-paid employment. There's definitely a skills gap there, hence the Chartered Institute of Environmental Health, together with other public and environmental health bodies and practitioners, are getting together to put forward a proposal for a new standard in public and environmental health. So to that end, I suppose we can anticipate that there will be perhaps a little blip in terms of recruitment to our standard programs whilst the standards come into being, and the amount of time for a standard to be developed can vary massively depending on the number of organizations involved and the consultation processes that take place. The consultation is currently out for the standard in public and environmental health. Okay, going on a bit more to the nitty gritty. Since April this year, 2017, apprenticeships have been funded differently to the way that they were funded previously. We now have the levy, with companies over, with a payroll over 3 million, then there is a direct levy, and companies can use that levy to fund degree apprenticeships. But if you are not a company if you're a non-levy paying customer firm with a small to medium-sized enterprise, small to medium-sized organization, an SME, then there is still a significant benefit to that company offering apprenticeship training through colleges, through the government. There is a definite subsidy, so paying significantly less for training than students would be paying to study for a qualification at university. So what is our university centre providing? We're looking at standards for digital technology solutions, mechanical engineering and electronics engineering. Within the higher apprenticeship framework, we have various pathways in engineering. We have construction in the built environment, have various companies involved in sending students, such as not build environment, the built environment. We have HNCs, HNDs in that area, and companies interested in sending students along to those HNCs. And we also have health and social care practice and integrated mental health and social care. We do have plans for the future, including, as I mentioned, cybersecurity, which we're going to incorporate as part of the BSc Honours Digital Technology Solutions. Typically, we've got cohorts of around about 15, and that is a good size cohort for the students' learning experience. It's always good, isn't it, to have students people to bounce ideas around with. I think you need to be careful about courses where there are a very small number of apprentices. I don't think it's as valuable if there are just one or two. However, we might within, for example, our digital and technology solutions degree apprenticeship, whilst we've got 15 students, that represents 7 or 8 companies. So they do vary. The mechanical engineering BEng honours programme is made up of largely large levy paying organisations sending multiple students. Any questions at this point? So higher apprenticeships usually take place over a period of 2 years and have a foundation degree or HND within them. Degree apprenticeships tend to be 4 or 5 years, but again, different universities, different colleges will take different approaches to this. And so I think you need to speak with the college that you're interested in targeting for your students. One thing that I would say in terms of University Centre Western is that we afford our apprentices the same level of support that our higher education students receive straightforwardly. So all the usual support systems are in place. So they're not treated any differently in that respect. Although clearly, for some areas, for example, if an apprentice needs to take time out through illness, then that they're also taking time out of their job. So there needs to be some communication regarding that. The commitment from the company and from the individual is quite significant, and we all have a vested interest in students going all the way through and receiving their apprenticeship at the end of it. And we're confident that that's going to be the case. But should a company or an individual decide to move on, then the apprenticeship will follow the student as opposed to the company. So an alternative employment could be found for an individual who leaves an organisation. Any questions on that? Yeah, so Kerry's asking an interesting question about whether foundation degrees which are the knowledge qualification within a higher apprenticeship can be topped up to an honours degree. Yes, that is the case. We've got, I think, 12 honours top ups at the moment. And like many colleges, we're maintaining a commitment to delivering foundation degrees and honours top ups for precisely the reason that students may wish to top up. It's a good question, actually, Kerry. We haven't seen it in practice yet, but yes, it is. It can happen. I think the fee, however, for the honours top-up year, if it's not part of an apprenticeship, um, is something that I need to look into in order to advise you properly. My instant response to that is probably they would be looking to pay that level 6 top-up year fee. Okay, there are a couple of helpful links here. I know the session is being recorded, so do have a look at this link. And the higher end degree apprenticeship listing will list all higher end degree apprenticeships currently available nationally. So do have a look at that list when advising students. There's plenty out there, but bear in mind it is in the areas where there are skills gaps. It's about meeting the needs of economic regeneration, regional regeneration. Thank you. Any further questions? Celeste is asking about where we advertise our degree apprenticeships. There are various places that are holding information about degree apprenticeships that are going on, but I think actually going to the University Central Western, going to the college website directly is the best place to get your information. There is a site called notgoingtouni.com, and actually I don't know the answer to whether we advertise on that. I'll have to find that out. I have another question coming from Joe. Yeah, the uptake. Joe's asking about the uptake. The uptake has been excellent. We've got something in the region of 75 degree apprenticeship or higher degree students at the moment, and there is significant enthusiasm for it. We weren't sure how many students we were going to get for the digital technology solutions, partly because it's such a complex title, and you know it begs the question, what is that all about? But we've put a lot of staff out there in speaking to local industry, asking them what they need, and we have designed it around what the employers are telling us. So hence the take up has been really, really good. Yeah, I think it is a real alternative to university, although it is university. It's an alternative to the traditional university mode of study. University Centre Western has, as I said, something in the region of 48 programs at the moment. A little bit of advertising to get hold of the prospectus. University Centre Western undergraduate prospectus, and do call our admissions staff here if you want to find out about any aspect of programs or apprenticeships. Okay, Kathy's asking, is there any, do I have any idea of the average starting salaries for degree apprenticeships? I'm not sure how helpful it is to say average. The salaries are very dependent still on the need for that role. So roles in engineering, in high tech, high-skilled areas, computing, tend to be higher than those in health and care, social care. But certainly, well, and if you look on the government website, you'll see a significant range of salaries that are offered. But I think we're looking at the lowest being around 12,000. So it's we're not looking at this as being a very low salary mechanism. And in fact, you know, I'd caution against companies that were offering a very low salary. But this is a tremendous offer for both the individual student, apprentice, and for the company. The payback for the company and for the individual apprentice is transformative, really. So a question, do school leavers stand the same chance of getting on to higher degree apprenticeships as older students? Um, yes, I think they do. Work experience within school is always a good idea. Um, Demonstrating those characteristics that employers, those soft skills that employers like to see. Um, this will be picked up, no doubt, at interview, but certainly a lot of apprenticeship training does include developing those soft skills and behavioral attributes, employability attributes that employers are looking for. So we are not necessarily anticipating that the majority of students would be school leavers, but certainly some of them would be, yeah, for sure. I think the chances are equal. As I mentioned before, some employers well, many employers are looking at the opportunity to upskill existing employees, but likewise, many employers are now only employing people that are coming onto apprenticeship training as a strategy, as a deliberate strategy and a mechanism for spending their levy. Okay, thank you, folks. It's been great speaking with you this afternoon. I hope what you've heard has been helpful. If you do have any further questions, by all means get back in touch with myself directly, jenny.han@ucw.ac.uk, and I'll be happy to answer any further questions. Thank you all. And if anyone would like to visit at any point and get further information, you're more than welcome. Just get in touch. Thank you. Thank you, Jade. We'll close there.